Have they actually discovered the Ark of the Covenant? Some say yes. It's a wild and weird and wacky story, and we have that coming up for you. Free solar panels for illegals. Yeah. And road striping. A very creative bit of road striping. We're going to have that story for you and more. Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. It is Thursday, that kind of weird day of the week where it isn't Wednesday, but it's not Friday, and we're here, okay? Thank you for being here. Couple of behind business here to get taken care of. First of all, in morning, Maryland, in our description, it's down there. You just expand. It says see more or whatever. Go down there. You'll see, first of all, the very top link is a PayPal link. If you'd like to donate to the cause of our show here and help fund us, keep us going, you can do that. It's easy. Just use that PayPal link. You can use a credit card. You can use your bank account, whatever it is, and just pass us a little donation. Any amount really is helpful. We appreciate that. And also, of course, our great sponsors, Blackout Coffee, Patriot Mobile, Ground News, NordVPN. They're all in there. Go over and pay them a visit by those links. All right. We're live on YouTube and we're live on Rumble, where we always are every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And this first story is a wild one. The Ark of the Covenant discovered for both religious people and non-religious people. You got to be, if nothing else, interested in history. And this is weird. It is because of a CIA declassified file that has suggested a breakthrough. Now, likely you have heard of something called remote viewing. Remote viewing has been going on for decades. It is they say we all have this ability, but in some people it's more attuned. And some people are able to go through the process and see things that in remote places. They have found aircraft this way. They have spied on our enemies this way. All kinds of ways this remote viewing has been used, both against our enemies and for all kinds of good and nefarious sort of things. But CIA remote viewer number 32, that's how they identify these people. They don't call them by name. But this remote viewer ended up finding the Ark of the Covenant, even though that was not the intentioned target. The mystical Ark of the Covenant, believed for a long time, forever really, to have been lost, may very well have been found, according to declassified CIA documents. I know what you're thinking, but bear with me. The intelligence agency claims the artifact may have been located by a psychic decades ago in the Middle East as part of its experimental secret projects back in the 1980s. The agency conducted experiments as part of the secret Project Sunstreak. Assets were using remote viewing, which is kind of an extrasensory perception, ESP, to find mysterious and sacred objects in a particular remote viewing session, December 5th, 1988. Remote viewer number 32 ended up finding artifacts even though that was not the intended target. The psychic described a location in the Middle East that they claim housed the object, and it was protected by entities, whatever that might be. The target is a container. The container has another container inside of it, and the target is fashioned of wood, gold, and silver, and decorated with a six-winged angel. According to the document, this is what the remote viewer saw. The target is protected by entities and can only be opened by those who are authorized to do so. This container will not and cannot be opened until the time is deemed correct. This is weird. This is from the remote viewer. Once the time to open the container is here, the mechanics of the lock system will be found to be fairly simple. Now, as per the Bible, the Ark of the Covenant is a gold-covered chest built by the Israelites sometime around 1445 BC, shortly after they fled Egypt with Moses, placing the Ten Commandments inside the Ark of the Covenant. Ten Commandments, a list of course directive given to Moses by God, including rules like thou shalt not kill, honor thy mother and father. The Ark of the Covenant has been a prominent item in popular culture. Globe-trotting adventures archaeologist Indiana Jones, of course, that very famous whatever one of the series of Indiana Jones films it was. In fact, if I'm not sure, Raiders of the Lost Ark, there you go. Jones attempting to uncover the artifact. As the news just recently went viral, the majority of social media users were poking fun at the CIA for using a psychic to discover the artifact, with some agreeing with the claims. It has been well known for decades that potentially it is in Ethiopia since King Solomon's time, or in a cave underneath Jerusalem where Jeremiah hid it. One user added, I talked to Indiana Jones. He said he found it. True story. Yeah, okay, fine. The third comment, what? Surely it's not April 1st yet. Perhaps this item was wrongly included today. Notably, there is no credible scientific evidence that remote viewing is a thing. They have been using it. It has, in many cases, been strangely successful. Like I said, a plane went down somewhere in the jungles of Africa. No one could find it. A remote viewer gave them the exact location, whatever what do they call it? The lines on the earth, the latitude and longitude, that's it. They went there and there was the plane. So call it what you will. There is not per se scientific evidence that remote viewing exists, but anecdotal evidence is pretty strong. It is regarded often as kind of a pseudoscience. But there's plenty of cases where these remote viewers have indeed been absolutely 100% correct. Now, this happened, like I said, back in 1988. It was a previously classified CIA document, has been unclassified, and that's what's in there about Project Sunstreak. So, is it the case? Don't know. I do know that it's not yet time to open it, so let's not muck around. I don't think it would be a good idea to open this thing. But, like I said, it's been found. Very, very weird. Whistleblower Chris Newby says, and yes, it's another tick story. Look, I'm sorry, but you have no idea how critically important this is and how much this could affect even you. I don't live in America. I live in Malaysia. You all know that. I've been open and honest about it. This show is for America. We talk about things all American. I am an expatriate, but I don't like that name because I'm still a patriot through and through. love my home country, happen to live in Malaysia for the last 24 or 5 years. No matter, still concerned, and you need to be concerned. This Chris Newby whistleblower guy says ticks were turned into a poor man's nuke. N-U-K-E, nuke. The U.S. military, proven fact, has bred ticks, fleas, and mosquitoes as bioweapons. They have loaded them up with plague, rabies, other killer diseases, and their rather sick goal was a cheap, silent killer that cost them just $1.33 per human life. Yeah. That's in order to devastate populations, collapse healthcare systems, all done from within, stealthy, lethal, released on the public in general, absolutely disgusting. And then Bill Gates enters the picture, funding tick genetic modification, while Lyme disease exploding, 476,000 new cases annually here in the United States. Alpha-gal syndrome, where you're not able to eat red meat or dairy, surged to nearly 500,000 sufferers. This is not science fiction, folks. Absolutely not. This is real. And we, sadly, were never supposed to know.
Pardon my ignorance. What is the disease you described, the other one? Rickettsia?
So it's a rickettsia. It is the same organism that causes Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and that's the most deadly tick-borne disease in the United States. It also was a germ that was being weaponized by the U.S. military at the time, and they tried to stuff it in ticks. I mean, so what is tick weaponization? So in the interviews with Willie, what he said was, I spent over a decade in the biological weapons program, a contractor to Fort Detrick, working on weaponizing fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes, trying to mass produce them, stuffing fleas with the plague, stuffing mosquitoes with deadly Trinidad virus, and then stuffing ticks with either deadly or incapacitating diseases like relapsing fever, Venezuelan equine encephalitis, rabies, leptospirosis, which is another spirochete. So it's just like Dr. Strangelove trying to make new diseases, mixing bacteria and virus in ticks with the intent of, this is the perfect stealth weapon. It's poor man's nuke. You drop these insects on an enemy. It weakens the population. It ties up the medical resources, but doesn't destroy infrastructure like a nuclear bomb would. And in one report from a bean counter in the military, they said, tularemia, which is tick-borne tularemia, also rabbit fever, we can kill 10,000 people at $1.33 a life.
$1.33 a life. Well, ain't that nice? Thank you, our federal government, the people that we elected to protect us. All right, look, you might want to get a piece of paper and a pencil and write some of this stuff down, because I have gathered together a bunch of important information, because dealing with ticks these days is almost priority number one. Sadly, we have been forced to worry about things like this, whether it's Bill Gates or our own government, We have to think about these things. And with everything we're hearing right now about ticks, this information, I think, is absolutely critical to share. First, whatever your uncle told you, forget it. No matches, no nail polish, no Vaseline, no soap on a cotton ball. All of those do the same terrible thing. They stress out the tick. And a stressed tick empties its guts back into the bite before it lets go. Basically, it pukes. If you think about what that actually means for a second, that is literally how Lyme and the rest get transmitted. So you're not speeding up its exit. You're basically making the tick puke into you and then jumping off. Doesn't solve the problem in any way. In fact, facilitates it. Fine-tipped tweezers, not the kinds with the little flat ends on them. A fine-tipped tweezer. Grip right where the mouth parts enter the skin, being very careful. Do not grab the body, don't grab the head. Right where the mouth parts enter the skin is where you've got to grab it from. And pull straight up, steady. Don't twist it, no jerking. It's going to feel like it's resisting because it is. The mouth parts are barbed, so they've got like hooks to keep them from falling out. So when you go to take it out, it's going to feel like it's resisting, which is exactly what's happening. Just keep the pressure on, and in a few seconds, it will let go. If a piece breaks off in the skin, leave it alone. Your body pushes out splinters. It will do the same with this little mouthpiece. Digging around with a needle does much more damage than the fragment ever would. Let your body do what it's designed to do. Clean it with alcohol or soap. Wash your hands. Very important. Now, here's the part most people skip. Do not flush the tick. Tape it to an index card. Very clearly, packing tape, clear packing tape, put that right over the body of the tick and write the date and where on your body it was and stick that card in a drawer. If you come down with anything weird in the next 30 days, fever, rash, joint pain, that flu that isn't a flu kind of feeling, the tick goes with you to the doctor. When you go to the doctor because you're not feeling well, you bring that tick with you. Some labs will test the tick itself. That tick is faster and a lot more reliable than waiting for antibodies to show up in your system. A dated tick taped to a card is one of the most useful things you can hand a doctor who is trying to find out what's wrong with you. The other thing worth saying out loud, if the tick was fully engorged when you pulled it out, and you can't swear it was off your body within 24 hours, call your doctor that same day. Don't wait for a rash. Fewer than 3 out of 4 Lyme disease cases even produce the classic bullseye. Single preventative dose of doxycycline within 72 hours of a deer tick bite cuts the Lyme odds way down. Most docs in tick country will write that prescription without giving you a hard time, especially if you walk in with a tick taped to a card and a very clear timeline. And just so you've got some idea, this is a tick on the left that has not yet eaten, and that on the right is what it looks like when it's full of your blood. Disgusting, I know, but you gotta know these things. They're critical. Really, really important. Scary that we gotta deal with this crap, but there you go. Good morning, Danny. Every gas pump was glitching this morning and ran me late for the show. Last night, I was have to go into the gas station in the morning. I looked like Shrek. that I can't quite imagine. Oh my! I forgot my coffee this morning. Well, I had a cup already, but I forgot to bring one into the studio with me. All right. No charge for a Texas dad who did the right thing. There's another good news story for you. A U.S. father, this is a horrible story, but here you go, who found his 5-year-old daughter being raped, beat the attacker to death, and he will not be charged, according to prosecutors. Good. The 23-year-old man told police he found the girl being assaulted on Saturday, June 9th, by Jesus Mora Flores in a rural part of southern Texas. A grand jury has declined to indict the man, finding that he was allowed to use deadly force to protect his daughter. The father has not been named in order to protect the identity of the daughter. The Lavaca County District Attorney and Sheriff announced the man would not face charges. They held a press conference Tuesday of this week. A witness who saw Flores abducting the girl to a remote spot raised the alarm. The father ran towards his daughter's screams as he found her being attacked and inflicted several blows to the man's head and neck area. Recording of the father's 911 call was played at the news conference, in which he tells a dispatcher he beat up a man he found raping his daughter. Police struggle to locate the family ranch. Father swears and tells the dispatcher, "Come on, this guy's gonna die on me. I don't know what to do." Emergency crews who responded to the father's 911 call found Flores' trousers and underwear pulled down. He found his lifeless body in that condition. Medical examiner of the girl at the hospital backed up the father's story. She had been sexually assaulted. The father was investigated for homicide, but not arrested. Good. There you go. Fan-freaking-tastic. We love stories like this. Insane. All right, I may have missed my cup on the show today, but there is never a day that should start without good old Blackout coffee. Blackout Coffee is the real deal. It's an American company. They work with local co-ops and American farmers to grow the best beans on the planet. Just the right altitude, the right temperature, the right weather, the right soil. Everything is right. They use only the premium beans that are rated 80 or more on a 100-point scale. And they only roast your beans after you place your order. And then within 24 to 48 hours from roasting, they are shipped out to your door. So you indeed get the freshest roast you can find. If you have no way of grinding up whole beans, no problem. They've got ground varieties on most of their most popular roasts. So you just pull that tab down and it says whole beans ground. You can get them ground and sent to you that way, not a problem. Flavored coffees, cold brew, coffee pods, instant. They've got all those. Check them out. And of course, Blackout Coffee does a fantastic job of supporting our military. For every purchase you make, it contributes to sending the military coffee overseas, active duty guys and gals, and they get their coffee. It is fantastic. They're a big supporter. John Santos and the gang at Blackout Coffee do an amazing job, an all-American company that simply makes a big, bold, full-flavored coffee that is never, ever bitter. Blackout Coffee. Check them out. Use the link in our show notes. All right. Well, you think you've heard it all? I got a little more for you. I always do. Bringing you free solar panels for illegal aliens. Now, when you hear that, which frankly sounds a bit like satire, because the reality behind it is so incredibly bonkers, you probably thought to yourself, I'll bet this is in California. Well, guess what? It is. Yet another example of the Golden State's endless grift. Turns out the state is paying for free solar panels, refrigerators, and more for folks who are not in this country legally. Why? Oh, you'll love the answer. Why? To stop climate change. Or maybe just to line the pockets of the legion of non-governmental organizations and interest groups who stand to profit from this scheme. And it is a scheme. California is spending millions of dollars on a program that provides free solar panels, free refrigerators, and free windows to low-income farm workers, which includes illegal immigrants. The initiative is called the Farm Worker House component of the Low-Income Weatherization Program, and it's part of California's sprawling multi-billion-dollar, $3 billion a year for energy programs and left-wing social causes, all under the banner of fighting climate change, which, if you're an audience on this show, you know is just a crock of crap. Since 2019, California's government has earmarked $49 million to the Farm Worker Program, which operates through an rather opaque web that includes a government agency, nonprofit providers, and we know how well that worked out in Minnesota, and private contractors. Have you ever heard of anything more peak California than this crap? California already is full of criminal fraud. And an even greater part of the state's budget is devoted to programs that are technically legal, but completely antithetical to the public good. Free solar panels for illegal aliens, and free refrigerators too, by the way. Here's how it works. The government doles out millions as part of its rather Orwellian-sounding initiative, the Farm Workers Housing component of the Low-Income Weatherization Program, then hands it over to some opaque web that includes a government agency, nonprofit providers, private contractors, And Democrats who are against having to provide an ID to vote. But with this program, that's all you need to get your free stuff. Even if your ID was issued by a foreign country, it doesn't matter. You got one, you get your stuff. Could be from Mexico, be a Mexican government ID. No problemo. Here's your free solar panels. Here's your fridge. Here's your new windows. California. This absolute ridiculousness apparently has very little to do with climate change. Few solar panels on farm workers' houses basically will do nothing to affect the environment overall, of course. Just more Golden State grift with Govey Newsom, the leftists leading the way. Yeah, I would tell them that they ought to feel ashamed, but they have proven time and time again that they seem to actually don't have that particular emotion. They don't have shame. They don't care. This is so absurd. It's almost funny. Unbelievable. Here's a good one. Oh, I love this. This isn't a Holiday Inn. Mark Wayne Mullen has been mocking the protesters in New Jersey and is teasing a major airport crackdown in the best way possible. Wait till you hear this. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen was looking hard at pulling Customs and Border Patrol agents from airports in sanctuary cities that harbor illegal aliens and refuse to cooperate with ICE. Tuesday, he announced on Fox News that the idea has moved a step forward and he's currently drawing up plans to make it happen. Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen announces that DHS is drawing up plans to block all international flights into sanctuary cities by ending customs screening there. And he can do it. And it would devastate those cities. Let's say San Francisco, blue city, fighting ICE all the time. Law enforcement does squat all nothing to help them out. Fights ICE at every corner. Customs. So what does ICE do? They pull out of the airport. No customs, no inspection. And if you don't have that, you can't have international flights coming into your airport. Sorry, don't work that way. You pull customs out of an airport, there are no international nothings going on. And he's serious. He will do it. They're drawing up plans right now to block all international flights into sanctuary cities by ending customs screenings there, which would devastate these cities. Mullen's doing it as a direct result of these sanctuary city morons refusing to cooperate. Good. This is what we need, consequences that actually hurt. You can't do that. You'll destroy our city. Good. Crimea River. Purple-haired morons fighting ICE at every corner. He says, why are we processing international flights to the airport there? Currently, which we're not issuing it yet, but we're currently drawing up plans to say, listen, in these sanctuary cities where the local radical left Democrats are not letting us do our job and enforce federal laws, well, then we shouldn't be processing international flights into their cities either, because they don't want us to enforce immigration, but they want us to protect immigration at their facilities. It doesn't work that way. This is an epic idea. Epic. I say do it. Absolutely do it. What's happened with ICE? You don't hear about it anymore. They've stopped talking about it because they moved on to the next Get Trump plan. I don't hear anything about ICE now. They're still out there. The left is still fighting against them. We did a story about an ICE facility the other day that had a roadblock built by the lefty whack mob in front of it. Well, now our secretary is finally doing something that actually will hurt these cities if he goes through with it. I cannot think of anything better. Make them feel the consequences. Make them feel the consequences. Pull customs out of the airports. See how you deal with that. I love it. Hey, Pam Bondi is back in the news because she's back. She had apparently a rather secret battle with her health, which has been revealed, and she has surprisingly returned to Trump's White House. How about that? Former Attorney General Pam Bondi, rather quietly battling thyroid cancer in the week since she left the top post at the Justice Department. Katie Miller has highlighted Bondi's private fight Tuesday night, praising the Florida powerhouse for kicking cancer's ass with the same grit and determination she has always shown in her fight for America First values. On X, she wrote, "Pam has a heart of gold." Shared a screenshot of an Axios report that quietly tucked away the revelation in a story about President Trump, tapping Bondi for a key role on the White House AI advisory panel. Former AG underwent treatment and is recovering. Trump's decision to tap Bondi for this Presidential Council of Advisors on Science and Technology, PCAST, puts a rather trusted ally right at the center of administration's pivotal AI policy efforts. She's going to help coordinate between the White House, top tech executives on the panel. That includes figures like NVIDIA's Jensen Huang, Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, the absolute ass, and Oral's Larry Ellison. President's touted the panel as an effort to ensure America's AI strategy prioritizes national security, innovation, dominance over communist China, rather than just big tech's progressive agenda. So Pam Bondi's back in the White House, and that is some good news indeed. Yes, indeed. Where do you get your mobile service from? Is it Patriot Mobile? Why not?
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Oh yeah, patriotmobile.com/J is the link. It's down there in our description. Make sure you know where your money's going. Don't be backing lefty causes. We talk about it all the time here on the show. patriotmobile.com/J, and use that promo code J when you sign up. And I'll pay your first month's bill if you do that. Yep, your first month is on me at Patriot Mobile when you use our link or use the code J, and you'll get that first month absolutely free. Patriot Mobile, the link is in our description down there below. Be sure and pull down that little show more and go for it. All right. The Hoover Dam The Hoover Dam has just delivered probably the most American thing you're going to see all this week at least. Now, as we celebrate our 250th anniversary of our independence, you're going to see a lot of Americana stuff out there. And while a lot of the left spent Memorial Day weekend protesting and posting takes about American guilt, the Trump admin lit up Hoover Dam with a 300-foot American flag and 500 LED lights blazing red, white, and blue into the Nevada Canyon walls. That display is going to run every night through the 4th of July, and that is the kind of America 250 celebration this country really needs. Yes, of course, we have video. It's short, but it's absolutely fantastic. This, my friends, is the Hoover Dam. Look at that.
This is my jam. Keep me partying to the
Wow.
AM. Y'all don't understand. Make me throw my hands.
Wow. Look at that. Go back, go back, go back. Come on, play it again. Come on, I want to see the dam again. The hell? It's not going to do it. I don't know why. Huh. That's weird. That's amazing. The numbers were staggering. More than 500 automated LED lights powered by the dam's own hydroelectric generators run on 126,000 feet of wire installed by 30 lighting technicians. The flag itself that you saw there on the dam hanging, 2,000 pounds of flag, covers roughly the size of a football field. Took 5 days of sewing just to get it ready. It also has previously that flag flown at the Indianapolis Colts and Las Vegas Raiders games. Organizers called it the most ambitious long-duration installation ever put together at the site. Bureau of Reclamation Acting Director Genevieve Johnson set the patriotic tone from the podium, said, "Celebrations like tonight's highlight the value that bind us, service, sacrifice, and the enduring belief that we can build a better future together. It is a fitting tribute on Memorial Day as we honor the men and women who gave their lives in service of this country." That Hoover Dam went up in the middle of the Great Depression, 21,000 workers over 5 years, sadly resulted in over 100 deaths. There were no DEI consultants, no environmental impact statements. You could never build the Hoover Dam today. It wouldn't work. No 6-week public comment period. They built it anyway. Nearly a century later, the Hoover Dam still delivers water, still delivers power across the Southwest. Concrete folks don't care about news cycles. What a fantastic, weather permitting, that's going on. If you happen to live in the area, or you can get out there to the Hoover Dam. Runs every night through July 4th, and then Saturday fireworks shows scheduled throughout June and July as the bigger America 250 celebration continues. Nice job, folks. Nice job. All right. Well, Trump is proposing a rather big expansion, hope you're sitting down, lefties, of hunting rights on public lands. Oh, yeah. Danny says, I love it. I just put up ours as well. Goes from Memorial Days, stays up till Halloween. Lights, flags, American stars, American gnomes, pathway of flags going to the sidewalk. We are ready for 250. Wow. Take a picture and share that, would you? I'd love to see it. All right. Let's call this a moment of multicultural understanding, shall we? An administration led by a real estate developer from Manhattan is proposing a federal rule change that will substantially improve access to public lands for hunting and fishing. But there is a very important proviso. As federal rule changes get a public comment period, anti-hunting groups certainly are going to flood the zone with opposition. We need to laugh at them and ignore them, maybe in that order. You can comment on the proposed changes. There is a website. Scroll down below the comment form. You can read the proposed rule changes in detail. Matter of fact, can I do this in the chat or not? Why can't I do my own chat? What's up with that? That's really weird. I don't know why. Oh, here I can. Okay, I'm going to post. It's a little weird, but that's the link to go over on the comment section if you want. Check it out. You got to do that by June 26th. There's an X account from the user Rodeo Professor, provides a rather detailed state-by-state breakdown of the local effects of these proposed rule changes, but it is going to make it much easier for hunters and fishermen to actually use public lands to hunt and to fish, because right now it is so damn regulated for sportsmen and sportswomen, it's almost impossible. But with these new rules from the Department of the Interior, National Park Service, Bureau of Land Management, the rule changes proposed this week affecting public lands, all managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, includes open hunting or sport fishing opportunities for the first time in 14 national wildlife refuges and 3 national fish hatcheries. The summary of the rule changes says the proposed actions, listen to this, will open or expand more than 1,450 opportunities for hunting and fishing. And if these lefty purple-haired goofball anti-hunting and fishing morons want to gum up the comments, you go right ahead, because we'll be right there behind you to laugh at you in your face and make fun of you. You do yourself. Go ahead. We don't mind. Now, since we're talking so much about America 250, there is a very cool video out there of a lady who's driving down a road on St. Louis Street in Springfield, Missouri. She is driving exactly 30 miles an hour, and she does so because the rumble strips on the side of her lane of the highway create a melody. This just opened up recently. The song was chosen as a tribute to America's open road, the spirit of Route 66, and the upcoming America 250 celebration. It is so cool, and I will tell you, it just so happens that the song is my favorite song of all time. Not my favorite patriotic song, although it is a patriotic song. It is simply my absolute most favorite song ever. And if you know the song, you should know that there are 5 or 6 verses to the song that almost no one ever hears, each one more beautiful than the rest. So, you want to go for a drive on a highway in Missouri? Here's how that will work out for you. Turn it up.
30 miles per hour, exactly, on this stretch of road on Route 66 in Springfield, Missouri. This is what you get.
Wow. Wow. Oh, man. That is too cool. That is too cool. America the Beautiful on road bumps. Wow. Isn't that weird? Apparently you have the you have to do it at 30 miles an hour. Now, I think that if you went faster, it still might work, but it would just raise the key that it's playing in. But I don't know. Apparently, it has to be at 30 miles an hour. Here in the chat is the link to the X post that I just played that from. And it's amazing. Fantastic. So there you go. Share that out there. What a cool thing. Absolutely cool. All right. Route 66 Musical Road. That's the coolest thing. That is just the coolest thing ever. All right. You know what? I was going to share this snake video with you, but I'm not sure that I can. No, I don't think I can. Is there a way I can show this unless I link it somehow? Where is it? It's in my downloads, I think. Is it in my downloads? Yeah, it is. How would I... Hold on. Okay. How would I do this? Help me out, folks. AH Open. No, that's not it. Let me see if I can add a source. VLC video. Okay. And then I will add this to my files. I'm doing this on the fly, so hang on. We'll see if it works. Where is it? Come on. There we go. See that? Behind it, white objects. That was over 7 Mama guarding his nest.
Yan, yang 2,000 digit lagi makan.
Scary part.
Oi, penat ya, lah naik kan penat buat dia kejap ya.
Place called Kajang.
Tahu panjang dia bang. Tapak. Abang belum bagi dia.
From where I'm sitting, right here. Yeah, that's one of the many fun things we get to deal with here in Malaysia. That huge python and some 70 eggs she was guarding plus was in a town 15 minutes from me. No, thank you. No, thank you. Where's Bobby Kennedy when you need him? Yes. I think even old Uncle Bobby would have a bit of a problem with that python. That is not a little street racer snake or whatever they're called. Oh, man, a Shevitz, that is huge. Karen, glad to have you along here. All right, folks, I think we're done. We put a cap on it. We'll be back again tomorrow for the Friday edition. Please, our sponsors are all down there in our description. And, of course, our PayPal link, if you'd just like to donate to keep the show free and keep us running and keep the lights on around here, you can do that through PayPal. Use a credit card or your bank account and just send us a little donation. We really appreciate it. All right, we're live on YouTube and Rumble every morning, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. And enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow.